I mean, look at the headlines Kerry just shared. They've used it to really foist this white supremacy narrative on us and really scare people about, oh my God, this is what's going on. There's all these white supremacists, blah, 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 which will be used. That will be fodder for Biden pushing critical race theory. My guess is not only will he rescind Trump's executive order with respect to CRT, and I think he's going to do that immediately. I won't be surprised if he issues another one at some point that says you have to do critical race theory training.
You have to. Yes,
right?
They are definitely. Oh my gosh, they're going to do that. Yes, they're going to do that.
Yeah. So I mean, all of this was enabled by the people who broke into the Capitol on the 6th and did what they did.
Yeah.
And I don't want to completely blame them because obviously they were the spark that caused the reaction, right? But it's exactly the action the left wanted. The left needed something to react to that was visceral, they could take pictures of, they could get normies riled up, and that's what they got.
I do blame them. However,
I'm saying not completely.
Right, but I understand that feeling of hopelessness, and it's almost like when it's Martin Luther King Day today, when that quote that he has that a lot of leftists take out of context on purpose. They try to say he was in support of violence. He was not. When he said that a riot is the voice of the unheard, he was trying to explain riots. He was not saying, and therefore we should riot. He was trying to explain why they happen. And in that way, I understand why it happened, why people ran in there. I don't support it. I want to share this funny, I'm probably going to butcher it, but this friend of mine was saying that it's sort of like, they've been trying to push this narrative for 4 years now. And they were pushing it during the 2016 election. This is a big part of what woke me up, actually, was because I believed the narrative. All I did was read all these, we just saw this propaganda. I was thoroughly plugged into the propaganda machine. Everything that came down that pipeline, I ate all that crap. And it was constantly telling me that Trump supporters were violent, that they were fascists, that there were people being injured at Trump rallies. And I didn't investigate further. I just imbibed all that garbage. And it wasn't until I went down the rabbit hole on YouTube of watching actual video footage of leftists being the ones engaged in violence and attacking Trump supporters at their own rallies and physically assaulting people and bloodying people and mobbing people at Trump rallies, that I started to wake up, because I had believed the exact opposite. And I'm like, how is this happen? This is the exact, like you said, it's projection. All the media was telling me was what they were doing, was what the left, my side, was doing. And they were trying to say that's what Trump supporters are doing. So I had this friend who's like, anyway, for 4 years now, they've been continuing that narrative. They've been telling us Trump supporters are violent, Trump supporters riot, we're so afraid what happens if Trump loses. There's going to be mass riots. And really, like there have been for 4 years. You guys started rioting in 2016. As soon as you lost, you've been rioting for 4 years. You kicked it into overdrive this past year during the summer of BLM as an excuse. Like, you guys have been rioting and violent, and everything you try to accuse those Trump people of, I saw through that. Like, you were lying. And so then they get this thing. They wanted this so bad. They wanted footage. And so these clowns go into the Capitol. Now they have this footage that they're blowing out of proportion and calling it an insurrection, all this stuff. And I had this friend who was saying it's kind of like when if you're dating a really crazy, jealous girlfriend who's always accusing you of cheating, and it's like, you're cheating, I know it, you're just lying, I know you're cheating, and you're like, I'm not cheating. And she's like, I don't believe you, you're always, and then you get so tired of it after years that you're like, I'm going on a date. And you go on a date with someone and she shows up at the date and it's like, I knew it.
It's exactly that.
You've been cheating all along. It's like you gave up.
Or although some people may argue that she set you up on the date in this particular because look, I mean, I don't think the leader of the Proud Boys, for example, who they're blaming for a lot of this, was he in the Capitol? I don't think so. I don't ever remember reading anything or
Who?
seeing any footage of him in the Capitol building.
Who?
The leader of the Proud Boys?
No, they banned him from DC. He didn't even get to go to DC.
Right. Okay. So
He
I
wasn't even
mean,
there.
so the leader's not even there.
So what do you
Right.
say?
So I mean, the people that were in there, uh, I, the evidence that there's some sort of organized thing, I think, is pretty weak. And you know, we know it's weird agitators like John Sullivan, dude, who we talked about last time, who, you know, like, yeah, there's going to be people that are going to do that stuff, and you get mobs riled up, but it's not, you know, there's no way in hell this is an organized insurrection.
I think there were some probably factions who planned to do that from the very beginning, but a
Yeah, I'm
very
sure, maybe.
small fraction of people, and then the mob, they pushed, people in a
Well, but my
crowd.
point is not the people who the media are blaming.
Oh no,
Right.